Hi, I'm Todd with Whole Latte Love. We have Mark behind the camera doing our video.
Todd, we got something here you know just a little bit about.
Yeah, this is the Expobar Brewtus. I've been working with Expobar since 2003 on these. They first sent us a sample, we checked it out, made some few changes, and this is up to the 4th version now, so many years down the line. We have 3 versions of the Brewtus IV. They're all very similar with just some small changes. We'll start with this one here, the short one. This is the Brewtus vibration pump model. Well, actually, first, let's talk about the similarities.
Yeah.
I think that would make more sense. Then it'll be easier to understand the differences.
Sure.
They're all 2-boiler PID controlled machines. They all have a brew pressure gauge and steam pressure gauge. All have the E61 brew group, no burn steam wands, hot water wands, the E61 lever control, and very similar housings. These are taller because they have taller legs. Other than that, the bodies are the same.
Right.
The differences are that this has a vibration pump and works only off a reservoir. Reservoir is sitting up inside here. This next version has a vibration pump, has a water reservoir there, but also can hook to a water line if you choose to do that. This version, looks just like it, has a rotary pump and will hook to a water line, will not work off a reservoir.
So this is water line only?
Yeah. Now what we've done is we've dropped the line into a tank here. We actually do have customers that do that, and it seems to work just fine.
Sure.
So let's start down at the beginning there, and we'll show you. Well, actually, let's go to the middle one here. I want to show you a nice little touch about the brew pressure gauge or brew pressure adjustment. You have a little screw in there. If you can see that, you put a screwdriver on that, and you can actually adjust that. Turn it clockwise to raise your brew pressure, counterclockwise to lower the brew pressure.
So without getting into the machine, like, some require getting inside, some don't.
Very simple.
Yep.
This light here goes on whenever the steam boiler is energized, and I'll like that. And let's take a look at the E61 brew group that's in these.
They all have the E61, but the Expobar brew groups are just a little bit different than most.
It's got its own version. And what they've done is they hollow out this area here. So, and there's a shower screen on this side. So water comes through the center, hits the shower screen, then backs up in here. It's kind of like a pre-infusion chamber.
So the shot comes a little bit slower with this E61 initially, right?
Correct.
Because that chamber's got to fill up?
Exactly.
So you need to take that in consideration maybe when brewing?
Yeah, which is, it seems to be a good thing because it brews a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do if you want to is, this is a Lavazza Espresso Point capsule adapter kit. That fits in here. If you like capsules, the simplicity of it, this will work pretty good. This basically just bolts right up into the machine, into the brew group, and then you just drop a capsule in there, and away you go.
Might be really nice in an office environment.
Yeah. Yep. If you want to get a good coffee, really good temperature control, because even though some people talk down capsules, and I understand that, at least you get the right water temperature on it, and you can dial it in the pressure and the temperature that you want for the capsules that you have. So at least you get the best that you can out of it, which is really all we're always trying to do. Get the best out of the product you have to work with. So let's move on down.
So now all 3 of the same machines opened up and looking inside.
Yep. Again, we'll talk about the similarities first. You notice all the copper tubing in here. The only non-copper tubing you have is some low pressure tubing and then a Teflon hose that goes from the pump to the bottom of the boilers. Other than that, it's all copper.
And that's just to reduce noise, hopefully isolate that pump a little bit.
Correct. Yep. Now, they all have the 1.7 liter copper boilers. Okay, yeah, see in there. And this is the steam boiler in the back, brew boiler in the front. Now, the really nice feature about the Expobars that we're doing is the water that goes to the brew boiler here is preheated with the heated water from the heat exchanger in the steam boiler. So you don't get cold water going into the brew boiler, and therefore really helps with your temperature stability. Another nice thing is the size of this brew boiler being 1.7 liters, so you have a large mass of water, and there's no substitute for mass.
I mean, among brew boilers, that's pretty darn large for this sort of machine,
Yeah,
right?
compared to what we will call a home dual boiler espresso machine, without question.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Over here, we have the plumbable version of the vibration pump machine. There's your pump. And for the plumbable version, we have the solenoid valve in line with the water line coming in. And this only opens when the pump is active. So for example, if you're brewing, this opens, or if the steam boiler is getting filled with water, this opens. Otherwise, it's closed, so you can't make a flood in the house. If something does burst
From that water line connection.
from the water line, exactly.
Right.
So
It's
we
kind of
like,
safety, right?
yeah, very good safety.
Yeah.
Now on the bottom, that's where the water line hooks up to. And then you just move this valve over to go between water line and reservoir. No solenoid valve for that.
No,
It's
right.
very, very simple this way.
Yep.
Okay. Your PID, your car control, and your static relay. Pressure stat. The pressure stat controls the brew boiler, then the PID controls, the pressure stat controls the steam boiler. The PID does the brew boiler. They work in harmony, they work really nice.
Okay.
And over here is the rotary pump version, all RPM motor, and a very high quality commercial pump. Again, your solenoid valve in line, so you can't flood the house if something would happen to break
Went wrong
inside.
there.
Things you don't usually go awry, but
Just in case.
Just in case. And you can look at the frame. This is all stainless steel, really heavy duty stainless steel frame. These are pretty shippable.
Yeah.
You know, the UPS girl, he can break them, but it's gonna have to work a little harder on these than on some of the other machines.
Okay.
Okay, I think we covered pretty much all the basics on the machine. Do we cover the switches?
Yeah, well, a brief mention, but let's,
Okay.
you know,
We
make
do have a
sure
switch that will turn off the steam boiler if you want to. That's the main switch for the main power. And this one over here will do the steam boiler. Yeah, so wait for that to reach, okay?
Yep.
So now the steam boiler will not operate, you'll just the brew boiler. It'll save a little bit of power. You lose your preheat going into the brew boiler when you do that. So your temperature stability won't be quite as good, but because of the larger mass of the brew boiler, it's
gonna be pretty
going to
darn
be
good,
pretty darn good.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I believe that's pretty good on this. What we'll do now is I'll set some put coffee in the portafilters and get them tamped, and we'll show a little brewing and a little steaming on them.
All right, let's do some brewing and steaming.
Okay, we're going to do a brew on the rotary pump and on the vibration pump machine down there, so you can get a feel for how they both work. Using 18 grams in the basket, by the way. Seems to work pretty good with this machine. And now I've got a single toe tip on this. Makes it very easy to control. You can just inject the amount of air that you want, since you're only focused on one hole. And the way it's designed is you get a really good amount of steam pressure for the whole process. It doesn't drop down over time.
Get the right size tip and a really large steam boiler. And
Yeah, they match each other, which is nice. So you just keep steaming and steaming, it doesn't run out. If you put a bigger tip on, you can have more pressure, which will blow out the steam quicker. So it's kind of a personal choice what you have.
Sure.
But this is how it comes from the factory. Always wipe it down.
Always wipe your wand, boys
Yep, and girls.
and girls.
There's one.
Beautiful.
Nice froth on that.
Now the vibration.
Yep. And these normally take a little longer to build up pressure because it is a vibration pump. It doesn't move as much water as a rotary pump. That's not necessarily a bad thing, by the way.
Right, kind of.
I've heard a lot of debates about what actually makes a better coffee, a rotary or vibration. But they do require a slightly different grind.
And you're using the same for both? Just
Yep, correct. We like about 140 degrees on our milk, give or take a little bit. Tastes really good there.
Yeah. Seems like there's a certain segment that really wants it hotter. And if they just try it a little cooler, they might find it's...
Yeah, I think lately that's been changing lately, which is nice to see. It started with, I think, Starbucks making like 1 million degree milk.
Yeah.
And I think they're coming down now. I haven't been there in a while.
But if you were making like a taller latte, might you go a little warmer just so it stays warmer? Or
I guess you would.
Yeah.
You could. I mean, if you got a to-go cup and you're bringing it somewhere with you.
Very nice.
Okay.
All right, so a little recap on
So
this.
that's how they work. A quick recap here. You have the rotary pump version, and this has to have a water line
Yep.
or a jug of water off to the side.
A jug of water.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the vibration pump that can work off of a plumb line or a reservoir. And this is the vibration pump that works only off the reservoir.
Okay.
Other than that, they're very, very similar. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything. I'm with Todd. I'm Todd of Whole Latte Love. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey, why not subscribe now for easy free access to more videos on everything coffee brought to you by WholeLatteLove.com.
Oh,